Yeah. Right, we've ripped up this carbon. How cool is this? Makes the place look huge and beautiful. There's a few little repairs, like obviously that was either damage repair, and it looks like this was a much smaller archway originally because they filled in some gaps. But still quality underneath here. What a waste of wood. Here they have ripped out the old chipboard, and Anthony has called probably, what, 10 different timber sources?
Yep.
To try and fill in this floor with Rimu that's the same color as our current stuff. So over the next week or so, they'll be shaving down the lounge area and hall area, and then next week, once the timber has acclimated, then they'll replace this little guy. Just a little original feature of the chipboard in 1978. We were wondering when the extension was, so I guess that answers our question. Anthony noticed that our underfloor, under the old chipboard area, didn't have any waterproofing past or damp proofing past this. So our task this evening on a regular Tuesday night is to add our, was it DPM?
Yeah, polyethylene, whatever, DPM stuff.
DPM sheeting. Commitment to the job. Anthony is now underneath the house trying to lay down the stuff nicely, and then I think we're gonna tape it, just measuring out around that little concrete area.
Oh man, this is gross as.
What a cute date night. Anthony crawling under the abyss of our house and covering himself in goodness knows what kind of goo. Wait, turn around. Look at that. Disgusting. So our task for today was picking up a bunch of timber for our floors that Anthony had sourced. He probably had to call about 10 or 15 people to finally find the amount of wood and the type of wood that we needed. So guess what we've been unloading on a cold southerly wind day. And Anthony, being the perfectionist that he is, decided we'd split it up into nicest pieces and then grotty pieces. So anything with like too many knots in it, etc. And then hopefully tomorrow they'll start sanding officially because there's been a few delays. They're filling in wood gaps, etc. And then, yeah, then we get to see the sanding process. Yee!
So one of the downsides of sanding is dust seems to get everywhere. Like this door is normally closed, but you can see just dust is everywhere. So hopefully when they're all finished, we'll be able to have a big cleanup and make everything look good again. So the guys have been in this afternoon and they have sanded about half of our lounge. You can see the dust is everywhere. And they've also managed to do all of our hallway, and it just looks so cool. I think when we finally get it polished and all done up, it's gonna look so good. There's this really cool natural colors and textures coming through with the wood. Unfortunately, they haven't had time to work in the dining room, which is still a big mess, but we got the timber yesterday, so hopefully they can install that soon.
Okay, so we have our first layer of polish down, so I'll show you guys what the guy did. How beautiful is this? Look at that. As you can see, he's only done half of the lounge, so here's the original wood that we pulled up, or saw, and then this is the new sanded back one. I'm just going to tell you this little funny story. So last night, Anthony and I went to go and look at the floors because we figured, oh, maybe they've done some sanding and polishing, and we were, happily surprised that they had. And we got a little bit impatient. We were like, hey, let's just like have a look inside. Like, it feels dry to the touch. It'll be fine. So Anthony takes a few steps forward, and halfway down the hallway, he's like, oh no, it's still sticky. And I had already taken like 3 steps into the hallway. And so I quickly kind of unstick myself back out. But we left like footprints in the floor, and I just felt gutted. So today we came back, and the first thing we went and looked at was to see if we'd still left those footprints. Because in my back of my mind, I was like, this poor guy has been sanding and polishing all day, and we've just ruined his floors with our stupid footprints because we've been so impatient. Thankfully, it looks fine, and there are no footprints to be seen. Okay, so this is our first night in the house. We have no curtains. We are currently eating salami sandwiches on our bed, which is on the floor because we're getting carpet installed hopefully in the next month, so there's no point in putting our bed together. And this is what our room looks like. Living the high life. But it's gonna look great, isn't it?
Amazing.
Woo! Yeah.
Just so film. Ah, cool!
How cool is that?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What else is in there?
We have a floor.
We did a vertical joint though.
Yeah, I brought that up with him, and he's like, the other guy was sick today, so he's like, he probably organized it for it to be that way, but they've got to hammer them in. So first of all, I think they're going to see if the joists, well not joists, what are they called? If it lines up. And then he said, oh, it'd be fine if we need to add a seam.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You happy?
Yeah, I'm stoked. It's so cool to see.
You can actually walk on this properly.
I know.
Oh, cool.
Through to the floor. Short video because I can barely breathe, but the floors have just been resined. A little brighter for you. This is the half that was already done, and now the other half is done. I'm gonna go outside to show you what the rest of the room looks like. How cool is that? Okay, the grand reveal of the floors. Have a look at this. Gorgeous, and here's our new area. So this is all the recycled Rimu that's been taken from other buildings, and it is now part of our floor. You can see all the different little notches and colors, and this room just looks huge now. Look at that reflection. So this was one of the boards that had to be replaced, and our carpenter found a piece of wood that was just wider than all the rest of ours, because the way that the joins were, it wasn't going to fit if we did one plank of our own. And then same thing with this one, they've just taken 2 separate pieces and joined them together. So it's it looks probably more dramatic on camera, but all of these pieces of wood have quite a variety of colors in them. The majority of the time though, this area will have a big rug underneath our dining room table. So the fact that those seams are so vastly different probably won't really matter because no one's gonna notice when it's underneath a rug, underneath the dining table. And the finished carpet. Our bedroom is much cleaner than the last time you saw it. Our bed only just fits in here. We might have to change the bed because we realize that our side tables don't actually fit on both sides because of the door. But how good is this? It is so much brighter. and so much nicer to be in. And this giant mirror now acts as a distraction from the magenta aubergine wallpaper, so that's kind of nice. Just bounces more light. And around the corner we have the studio room now. So this is very exciting. It looks so much cleaner with the new carpet. Even the disgusting walls don't look as bad now that the floor is done. So our next mission will be ripping off all of the wallpaper and redoing that. But at the moment, we are very, very happy. If Anthony being a domestic god. Our next project will be cutting down this section of our kitchen wall to open up the kitchen to the dining room. So that's very exciting. It does mean we're gonna have a bit of a random gap that we're gonna have to cover up between the wall and the bench, but we're just gonna live with it. We don't really use this storage except for plates, and we have a few Tupperware items in here, but I made sure we didn't use that space so that we could knock it down pretty easy. So yeah, wall comes down first, maybe next weekend, and then the next project is either painting or trying to repaint the kitchen, but we shall see how that goes.